Good morning and happy Tuesday, you guys. It's taco day.
Boogie has a question.
Really hope that girl's mama is going to watch me. I have a very important question.
Boogie, that girl's mama's name. You want to know it?
Yeah, what's her name?
Her name is Stacy.
Oh, Stacy, hi.
Yeah, and so yesterday Boogie was scrolling through Facebook and
Checking in on you guys' burpees.
And he saw a photo of him with another little girl Frenchie.
A blue one.
A blue one.
Blue-eyed Frenchie Boogie.
And he told us he thought she is really pretty.
Boogie,
is that right, Boogie?
Boogie, do you want to say something about it today? Do you wanna bring her to your Mama? I hate it.
I know, but
I hate it.
But you have eye boogers. You know why we call you Boogie?
I hate it.
You know why we call you Boogie?
Boogie, do you wanna bring her to Kissing Booth?
I want to know if she would have any interest in considering to be my girlfriend. I don't really know if I want her to be yet, but I would like to get to know her.
Oh, what a gentleman you are.
Look at him.
This is amazing. Do you guys enjoy coffee time with Boogie?
Do you love to sit on Mama's lap?
Yes.
I always try to get his face to point the camera and
Boogie.
he just...
Boogie, are you ready to answer some questions and add some value now?
I think I will go lay on my bed while you answer the questions.
Okay, you're ready to go back to sleep.
Can you put me there?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can. Nugget.
Oh my gosh.
Nugget.
Thank you so much for the fur coat, Boogie. Good morning, everybody. It's been a while since we called out them names. Liz, Andy, Jeanette, Caitlin, Ivy, Jerry, Tina, Katie, Junelyn, Brittany in the house, Ms. Marshall, Stacy, Junior, Daisy, Heather, Lauren, Veronica, Brogan, Sup, Lexi, Ashley, oh my goodness, Rachel, you guys are amazing. He is camera shy.
Good morning, you guys.
Good morning.
So let's talk about a few housekeeping things before we get this party started and answer some questions. As you guys know, on Sunday, the Transformation Kickstarter Challenge was officially over, but yesterday we unofficially decided to extend it.
We officially decided for it to not be over.
But the results are in, so we know who the top 3 people are. We will be announcing those on the live show that we will have at 9 a.m. The challenge live show at 9 a.m. We will
also be announcing the winner of the burpee challenge from yesterday, along with the prizes.
With today's challenge. Okay, so 9 a.m.
What do you think today's challenge is going to be?
9 a.m. Be sure to tune in. We're going to announce the top 3 winners. Okay, we're also going to be announcing the winner of yesterday's challenge and giving away that prize. We're going to be talking about all of the prize giveaways, and we're going to be announcing today's challenge. Remember, you guys, every day this week, we are going to be having a different challenge, and every day this week, we're also going to be giving out a prize. Okay, so make sure that you participate. I just want to share with you some stats because I like to keep you guys in the loop, and why the things that we say based off of numbers, right? Like the numbers never lie. And we had 1,410 people registered from start to finish based off of the instructions that we have given, right? Based off of like how the expectation was set for people to show up from start to finish. Only 43 people have showed up all the way. Now, I'm not saying that it was actually only 43 people. I totally get it that some people are probably like, I'm going to do everything, but I'm not going to participate. But as far as participation goes, out of 1,410 people, only 43 people followed through all the way with every single instruction. And that's why I tell you guys this, right? People's biggest problem are trying to eat a whole fish in one bite. Like thinking that you're going to lose all the weight in one day, and when shit goes sideways, you give up. Like literally 3% of all the people who have registered have shown up from start to finish as prescribed. Now I get it, maybe 10% of the people showed up without like participating. But still, remember this. When people set New Year's resolution goals, 90% of the people fall off within 14 days. Like, just the reason why I want to share it with you guys, because you guys, we're all in this together, right? Like, we're all going to transform the world together, right? We are on a mission to transform the lives of millions through the same movement, nutrition, and lifestyle habits that have transformed ours. But when we share with you the stats that we share with you, we're not just pulling numbers out of our asses. Like, it's actually really sad how blocked people are because of that mindset. Mm-hmm. It's really frustrating, and I feel sad for them. And the other part is that because it was free, and when you get shit for free, you don't value it either, which I get. But, you know, when you're a go-getter.
And those 43 people, let's say too, that doesn't mean you got a perfect score.
Right.
It doesn't mean 43 people that got a perfect score, because we're not about perfection. Perfection's an idea. It's a poofy, shiny, sparkly cloud that we think exists. And so we're not talking about 43 people like got perfect scores. We're talking about 43 people submitted what they needed to submit on the front end and on the back end, mm-hmm. and participated throughout the entire challenge.
Yeah.
Right? Whether you got a perfect score or not is irrelevant. But there could be more that did participate in all 14 days. So we're not saying anything in regards to that. We're saying people who actually submitted weights. We have 43 people who submitted a before and an after. Right? That's it. That's the numbers that we're going off of. But recognizing also that there's probably a lot more people that actually did the 14 days. And some people's intention wasn't to win. It was to support somebody else, or to just participate in the challenges, or find inspiration or motivation for each day to show up. So there are varying degrees of why people would choose to do this 14-day challenge. Now, what we know is that 43 people submitted a before and an after weight.
And how many people submitted a before but not an after? Those are the people who fell off.
Yeah. Or forgot.
We started at 243 submissions. And then we ended at 43. So what is that? Maybe 20%?
And it's going to be a give or take percentage, because that doesn't mean that people have good intentions, but it also goes to show that if you really 100% desire to follow through with something all of the way, you're going to do what you need to in order to make that happen. So if it's important to you to submit a before and after score, you're going to submit a before and after score, because you're going to mark it in your calendar when you need to submit it. You're going to do it right away. You're not going to wait. Things are not going to get in your way if you want something bad enough.
Yeah.
But because it's free, we also realize there's less. I don't want to say there isn't value, because clearly, I'll tell you right now, you want to know the total amount of weight that you guys lost in 14 days?
And that's just from the 43 people.
This is only from 43 people. You guys lost 243.1 pounds.
Isn't it amazing?
That's only 43 people. It's more than that. Yeah. But like, it's so amazing. And, you know, I want all the scores because I just want to see how much of an impact that the challenge is having. But I'm just so stoked for you guys.
Yeah, but, you know, from every life experience, you have to take it as an opportunity to learn and grow. And as a community, what I want you guys to think about is that if 243 people, sorry, it's actually 235. If 235 people started by submitting their scores, but only 43 people actually ended up submitting it. This tells me that I got an 18% conversion. That tells me that 82% of the people who started this were not committed. Only 18% of the people who played the game to play the game. Some of you guys did it just to whatever.
Yeah.
But you didn't send your scores, so you're not playing the game. But out of the 235 people who played the game, only 18% of the people were committed. So you guys, this is what you have to learn. Because so many of you guys, and it drives me nuts, and that's why I get really passionate about these things. You're so focused on being perfect. I'm like, if you just go the extra mile, literally by just following through, your results are going to be 80% better than everybody else's just by following through. I'm not talking about being perfect, far from it. And I saw that some of you guys made posts and you're like, lost 7 pounds. I wasn't perfect, but I showed up. I think it was like Michelle or something like that. And I'm like, man, that's inspiring. That's exactly what it's all about. So many of you guys are blocked with this mindset, thinking that you have to follow everything according to plan. And if you don't, then you might as well give up. No, literally just by following through, very imperfectly, your results by the end of the year, by the end of the decade, will be 80% better than other people who try to be perfect all the time. Like, just with this mindset shift, you will be able to accomplish so much more. And that's why I get passionate, because people don't realize that people's problems are not fucking macros, they're not fucking calories, none of that bullshit. It's the ability to follow through past day 2. That's it. That's it. That's all. Yeah, let's get to some questions.
No matter what, at the end of the day, whether you submit a score or not, you know if you showed up. And that's really all that matters. At the end of the day, that's all that matters. Maybe your intention wasn't to submit scores. Maybe your intention wasn't to send an email with your weights. Mm-hmm. That's okay. That's your intention, right? You're intentional. That's fine. At the end of the day, you know if you did what you needed to do for you today. That's it. Intuitively, you can feel it. You also can feel when you know you're not reaching your potential for the day. So that's all. Okay, let's get to some questions.
Let's do it.
I have to show them something.
Okay.
Because they helped me make a very important decision yesterday.
They did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember? You teased me about it.
No, I don't remember. Oh.
Do you guys see? You held me accountable in doing my nails yesterday. Do you see what I did there? I said, which one of these? And you chose. And so then I had public accountability to do my nails. And that's not normally a thing that people struggle with. But anyways, I wanted you to know that I love you guys. Look, these are dedicated to you. Okay? All right. On with the questions. Can you hear my stomach?
Gosh, yeah.
Brr. Wait. No, it's growling. Okay. We got Kate. How do you say her last name? Bam?
Biome.
She's like, everybody butchers it. Yep. Okay, from North Carolina. What does body type have to do with metabolism? I've heard I put on muscle easily because of my body type, but that doesn't help me lose weight. Does it?
I can tell that you're confused just by the way that you're asking this question. Body type has nothing to do with your metabolism. What will directly have to do with your metabolism is the amount of muscle that you have. So remember,
Kate's in the house. I love it.
muscle is the most metabolic organ that we have. You having more muscle, it is like having investments in your portfolio in the sense that you are getting to burn more calories literally just as you're listening to the show, as you're sitting down, like even when you're not doing shit. That is a faster metabolism. Now, as far as body type goes, there's 3 types of body types physiologically, right? There is an endomorph, there's an ectomorph, and there's a mesomorph. And those body types are basically like, how does your muscle structure out from
on your frame
from a genetic standpoint, right? So if you look at different people, some of them will have longer, leaner muscles regardless of how heavy they lift. Now, some of them will look a little bit more bulky, and some of them would just look right. When you know what I mean.
What does that mean? What is right?
Like very symmetrical.
Oh, symmetrical.
Not like buffed up.
I wouldn't say there's right or wrong. So I don't think that's what you were trying to say, but symmetrical.
Symmetrical is what I meant. Symmetrical is what I meant. So your metabolism is directly correlated with your lifestyle and the amount of skeletal muscle mass in which you carry. If you put on muscle easily, then great. You have a bigger advantage of getting those investments racked up. But if you're talking about weight loss, then I can tell that there is a disconnect, because that tells me that maybe you're training in a way that when you train, you can build muscle faster than most people, which is awesome, by the way, because I mean, hey, you're getting those investments faster. But if you're not losing weight and that is your goal, then the way in which you live is not in aligned.
I see you guys commenting, right. And I want to have you notice, she did not say it for the majority of that segment. Can we recognize that?
I've been practicing.
Can we recognize
yesterday
that?
was really hard for me, but like I made a commitment.
I know, and I notice, and it's I'm like, stop saying it. You're not encouraging. But
I wasn't looking, honestly, because yesterday it was really hard for me to share my message, because that was all that I was thinking. And I'm like, I can't just think about it. But knowing that I'm aware of it, I'm going to do my best. And I'm probably still going to say it, but 1 year from now, my speech is going to be way different.
But also, there is an appropriate time to say that word. So it doesn't mean that if it is said, that it's just now immediately wrong. Right?
Speaking of progress, and this is not to toot my horn, but do you guys know that I was born with a speech impediment? Would you guys ever think that? If you were to hear me speak up to about maybe a year and a half ago, it was painful. I had a speech impediment, but I had to speak my way out of it. So for all of you guys who have weight to lose and you're like, oh, I'm chunky, this and that, just overcome it. Commit to overcoming it. Practice your way out of it.
I have a couple things to say on this also.
Yeah.
Your body type is your body type, and that is determined genetically. However, that is not an excuse for you to not be lean and healthy.
Everybody can, and everybody is designed to be that way.
It makes me a little crazy when people say, I'm big boned. You might be, but you also have some body fat. And that's okay. It just is what it is. It's not like having a bigger frame doesn't mean you have to be overweight. It's not your destiny. Right? It's not predetermined that because you have a certain body type, you're going to be overweight. You could also be, what's the leaner, like the skinnier one, the ones that have a harder time gaining muscle?
I think that's the ectomorph. Because I want to say endo, but I remember when we were learning
Endo's the bigger.
Endo is the bigger, then it's ectomorph.
So,
because meso is the middle.
Yeah. And if you have a hard time putting on muscle, you can still be overweight. It's called skinny fat.
Yeah.
It's called skinny fat. You're soft, and when you jump, things still jiggle. Arnold Schwarzenegger said it best. It's simple. If it jiggles, it's fat. Yes. So regardless of the body type, it is not an excuse. Okay, so I just want to throw that out there. Not saying that, Kate, you're somebody, whatever. But metabolism has nothing to do with the body type. Metabolism has a lot to do with how well your hormones work in unison with one another and what your habits are nutritionally, what your habits are regarding to lifestyle, what your habits are regarding to your movement and your stress levels and all of that.
Regeneration protocol. There's so much that goes into it. I think Kate actually signed up for the Raw Transformation. Kate, can you confirm that?
I also would like to add or actually ask, who was it that told you put on muscle easily because of your body type? Like, who told you that?
That sounds like it's somebody pretty uneducated, to be honest.
Maybe not. Maybe they are more educated, but there are a lot of blind leading the blind. You know, I was a personal trainer for over a decade. And I cannot count how many times I would see somebody who doesn't know what the fuck they're doing trying to train and tell somebody else how to do what the fuck they don't know what the fuck they're doing. That's a lot of F words. All right, I'm gonna cool it. But I was trying to be dramatic because it's like, hey, I don't know where we're going. Sure, let me lead you too. Come with me. Let's go walk off the cliff together. So there's a lot of that going on. I just want to make sure that it is somebody who's educated, who's giving you that information, because it's good to filter. And the point of this is filter what you hear, even from us, right? Right? Damn it. Filter what you hear. Don't just accept what is said to you. Analyze it for yourself and make your own thoughts and make your own ideas based off of the things that you've heard.
There is one sentence from an excerpt from a book that I want to share with you that I read this morning. And this ties in with what you said really well. Who you learn from is as important as what you learn. Some of you guys are so fucking confused because you learn from either uneducated people, family members, friends, things online. Anybody can put shit online. Or from people who don't practice what they preach. Those are the most dangerous people. They know everything.
But can't do any of it.
But they can't do any of it. Look, nothing in life matters if you ain't practice what you preach. I don't care if you have a PhD, if you have an MD. If you look like you need help and you're struggling, then guess what? Your words are invaluable. Because you can't provide...
In regards to what you're struggling with yourself.
Right, because you can't provide the right approach. You might know what actions to take, but you can't provide the right approach in order to get there. Or maybe you can, but you lack commitment. And mindset is like everything rises and falls on leadership. So,
yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, we have there are a lot of people who tell us things about nutrition, like
my mom,
as if we don't know, but trying to just prove that they know, but it's painful when they're wrong about it, but they're so convinced, and I don't want to be the one that's like, no, actually, you're wrong, because people are sensitive. And it's our job to educate them if they want the education. But if you think you know it all and then you're telling other people to do it, we've gone way off of this question. Let's go on.
Yes.
Okay, let's actually answer some questions.
Oh, wow, that's a long question.
This one is a short story. I'm not going to read it all. I'm going to filter through this.
Aww.
Thank you so much for being thankful for the things that we do. This question is from Kayla Halfley. Okay, so North Virginia.
Thank you for your gratitude. That really means a lot.
So first she thanked us, which is amazing. Thank you so much. And she wants to hear about our thoughts on rest, mostly in regards to sleeping. It seems like she gets, I remember reading this, I read it beforehand. She gets a decent amount of sleep. She doesn't toss or turn. She has cut down the caffeine intake. It seems like she's doing everything that she would need to do in order to feel rested, but still feels exhausted. Pretty much that is the summary of the short story. And in her thought is that she's allowing outside stress to affect her and cause fatigue.
Okay,
let's talk about it.
So basically, her point is that from a regeneration standpoint, she's doing the right things. However, she's feeling really tired. Seems as if she kind of just started her journey.
But like a month and about almost 2 months ago, right?
So here's the thing. For one, so there is stress that's that we need to touch on, and there is also recovery rate that we need to touch on. For one, if you're just starting out, though it sounds great on paper to work out every day, your recovery rate is way too low to be able to keep up with it, unless it's a 30-minute walk or something like that. And even so, depending on how out of shape you are or when was the last time that you actually worked out.
Or the intensity of the walk.
Yeah, like your recovery process might be way longer. So we have to take recovery into consideration, and from the sounds of it, you probably need to, I don't think she talked about what her training frequency is. So I would like to review your training frequency. That's one, in order to make sure that you're actually able to recover. So there is, you guys, in training, there is such a thing called the super compensation model. And the super compensation model basically talks about if you had a training session, depending on your recovery rate, this is how long it will take your body to get back to its normal recovered form.
To its optimal state to be able to push to the next level.
For example, for any of the people who work with me one-on-one, like all the inner circle people, if you came to me like being inactive, I didn't put it as part of your target to work out every day, because I know you won't be able to keep up with it, because your body will take a longer time to recover. Especially knowing that if you're doing the Rise Above workouts, for a beginner, the Rise Above workouts are extremely efficient and effective. It could take you up to 72 hours to recover. So if you're not fully recovered, like you're going to need more sleep in order to increase your recovery rate. So maybe as you're starting to, build up your training, maybe you need 9 hours of sleep. So, I would say this would be method one. Now, the other, go ahead.
I can't help but think, like, we're not one to just immediately push a supplement on somebody, but I also can't help but think of the extreme endurance.
Yes, absolutely.
I really can't.
I was thinking about it too.
X Endurance has, and I'll be fully 100% transparent, they're a multi-level marketing company, and we partner with them.
Because we believe in them.
Yeah, but we've also believed in them since 2015, long before they became this model. And so I'll be honest, like I'm going to drop a link because I think that like 80% of you, I think 100% of you would benefit from this. I think that 80% of you need it.
Mm-hmm. We take it.
So I'm going to drop the link, but I'm probably going to put somebody else's so they're getting whatever benefit from that. But here's the deal with that is that it's going to help reduce the amount of free radical damage that is being done to your cells. So a free radical is a cell that is, and I'm not gonna I don't know all of the scientific terminology, so I'm gonna give you my best analogy, is basically a cell that is unstable because it's missing a piece of something. So what happens is it has to grab from two other cells to make itself stable. So it's killing two cells while repairing and stabilizing one. So it helps reduce the amount of damage done by just the air that we breathe and the things that we take in unavoidably, that is killing cells at a higher rate. Mm-hmm. And that is the reason why I think that would be an epic thing for you. I'll post it. Check it out if you want to. Don't check it out if you don't want to. I don't care. But I think it would be greatly beneficial as well.
Yeah. And then the other part that we have to take into consideration is your stress levels. So the more stressed you are, the slower your recovery process is going to be. And the higher the free radical damage is going to be in your cells.
Yep.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you consider your stress levels? And if you don't know where you would rate yourself, then what you probably need to do is take some time to actually sit in peace, to let that shit come up to the surface. Mm-hmm. I feel like so many of you guys are stressed out and you don't even realize that. Because that became your new norm. Though she does sound like she does conscious.
Meditation and tries
Where?
Right here. Morning and night. To meditate and self-inventory my day, which is great.
I didn't see that.
Something that it's reflection, and it's amazing.
That's great.
So I can see that some of you want that link. I'll go ahead and post it. I think for the simplicity of it, I'll put somebody's link who's not even in this group because I don't want to pick a favorite or single anyone out. But for the sake of your guys's benefit, I'm definitely going to drop the link to that one, at least one supplement. It's hands down. It's like the first supplement X Endurance ever created, like their flagship product. And it's unreal. It's unreal. Anyways.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. I don't know if we helped.
Start by making time to get more sleep, and we recommend try out the extreme endurance as well to help speed up recovery.
Kayla, I'll send you also a couple of other things that I would recommend you take a look at. Totally up to you what you want to do.
But I would say test one thing at a time. Start by implementing 1 week of more sleep. See the impact that made, and then add the extreme endurance on top of that. See what impact that made. That goes back to yesterday's conversation. You only want to manipulate one element at a time in order to understand the efficacy of the approach. That's why you can't change everything at once. You can't start, going from being a couch potato to working out 2 hours, cutting out carbs, doing intermittent fasting, all the bullshit, because you don't know what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah. I would try the focus just for the now, right? Having energy midday when you do start to feel that. If you do, but hopefully it gets better. Okay, Stephanie Strollo. All right, Stephanie, we remember your name because you came in really hot, but we love you.
Read it. I'm gonna run to you real quick. It's really
okay. All right, she's chair dancing over here wow, wow. All right. So, Stephanie from Florida, we're so glad for one that you could see how much we really care and want to help. And here's the question. During the process of losing weight, is there any way to ensure our boobs don't end up getting saggy to our knees? This is amazing. I know people are laughing right now. I'm aware proper support during training helps, but when we lose the excess fat, are our girls gonna look like deflated balloons? That's a really great question. And you may or may not like the answer because this is something that's pretty unavoidable, what happens, but it's also going to be determined by where you're starting. Yes. If you're starting out with Z-size tetas and you lose a lot of weight, yeah, there's a lot of extra skin and stuff there too. So, unfortunately, but you know what? Every piece of you is beautiful because it explains your journey. Mm-hmm. And if you learn to embrace that, it's not so bad. I know it's not ideal. But even let's talk to Jeanette or Kayla in the room. Jeanette and Kayla have both lost over 100 pounds. So it depends on where you're starting. If you lose 100 pounds, it is inevitable no matter what you try or do that, yes, that's going to happen. Now, if, you're starting out and you're like, it was like 15, 20 pounds, it's not going to be as dramatic because there's not as much that was there in the beginning. And then genetically also, there are people who will have no boobs when they get lean. And there are people who will have some kind of boobs when they get lean. But if you look at the boob, it is fat tissue, is breast tissue and fat. That's all. So if you're losing body fat, you don't get to choose where you lose it. You don't get to choose where you lose.
So here's my point on this.
I see you smiling the whole time.
Here's my point on this. When you do the journey right, you realize that your confidence doesn't come from your boobs. Your boobs...
It doesn't matter.
Your boobs don't give you validation anymore. It's really not about your boobs. I get it. Some people, like guys, girls, might be into boobs, but they're going to be into the attitude shift so much more than your boobs and whether they're sagging a little bit or a little less. The reality is that gravity is still around us, whether we like it or not. It's the law of gravity. Shit's gonna fall. If for you, mentally, you're like, man, I can't handle, my boobs looking like they're more sagging, then you know what? Like, go get a plastic surgery. Like, we can fix that shit. That's like an easy thing. However, I will tell you, as somebody whose boobs have changed dramatically in the journey, like mine went from grapefruits to fucking nectarines. No one who has done the journey right is ever like, oh my gosh, I'm so pissed that my boobs have shrunk and maybe they're sagging a little more. Hell no.
Okay, so here's a would you rather. Would you rather be overweight and have your boobs, or be lean and feel amazing and confident and they're not ideal? And no, there's no tightening exercises, Ivy. You cannot flex fat.
Yeah, there's no
You can't flex fat.
Like, I'm not gonna brag here, but like, you can fucking see my pecs, right? Like, my boobs still sag to some degree.
Is that a woman's head on a man's body?
It does not look, right? Like, you can tell that I have like chest, like pec development, right? Like, there's no doubt about it. But like, your breast tissue is different than your pectoral muscles. People don't get that.
Muscle and tissue are completely different organs.
Yeah.
And they behave different ways. They come and they go in very different ways.
But I want you guys to answer that question. What would you rather?
Captain No Boob in the house. You know what? Here's the other piece of this. I would rather have smaller boobs. Now that's a preference, right? Because my boobs don't define me. And I want everybody to think that way.
My boobs don't define me.
You know what I mean? And so when you run, think about when you run. Is that comfortable?
The only
to have bigger boobs or no?
The only exercise where
Jumping jacks?
where a bigger chest would give you an advantage is chest to bar pull-ups.
Or push-ups. But not really, because you weigh more because you got bigger boobas.
Yeah.
You know what? Here's the other thing. I think, this is just a personal thought, is that everything exercise related that has the word jump in it should really be replaced with jiggle. Because of the boob situation. Jumping jack should be called jiggle jack.
I remember when I started my journey and I was running because my boobs were so much bigger. I literally lost over an entire bra size. It would every single time I ran, the impact, just, it's like,
oh, it hurts.
I would run
wham.
this with my hands right here because I'm like, that shit fucking hurts. But now I don't have to do that.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
inconvenient.
You know what? Here's the blanket statement. The grass is always greener on the other side.
Yeah.
Unless you decide your grass is so special to you, you would never want it to be replaced.
Amen. But the beauty of it, of the 21st century and medicine that we have nowadays, is that you can put implants.
You can go have skin removed. You can go whatever.
Yeah. Ain't no problem with that.
Yeah, and I think it doesn't matter how lean you are. Jumping activities are jiggle activities.
Yeah.
That's that. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay, we can do at least one more, depending on how long we go. June Ellen, showing back up from Houston. Can you explain VO2 max? What's a good number? I'm not even going to touch this one.
That's a fully loaded question. And Junella, knowing you, that's really shouldn't be an area of focus of yours. VO2 max basically describes the efficiency
of your oxygen consumption and
utilization. In your lungs and how you utilize oxygen for energy in your body. Now, here's the thing. As your endurance increases, your VO2 max gets better. Mm-hmm. A good number, that's all relative. What is your goal? Is your goal to be a world-class marathon runner? Is your goal to be a fit woman in whatever age category it is? It's such a fully loaded question. VO2 max is it's one of those flashy objects, right? And the mm-hmm. Whoop and all these things talk about HRV rates, VO2 max, blah, blah, blah. No, dude, just let's keep it simple. VO2 max ain't your problem. But if you keep on doing more endurance-based activities, then your VO2 max will increase. Your focus as far as VO2 max, if you're Usain Bolt and you're trying to, break the world record once again, then VO2 max training should be an area of focus of yours.
But for most people, it's why does it matter? Not as an asshole question or being passive aggressive, but legitimately.
Doesn't matter.
Why does it matter?
Doesn't matter.
Can you do all the things you need to do? Are you working on getting better at things? Great.
I want to give you guys some grace. I feel like a lot of you guys are focusing so much of your attention on things that really don't matter to you. And I want you to start implementing the mental thought pattern of how does this relate to me? Right? Just because maybe it pertains to an athlete, does it actually relate to you because they do it? The reason why I say it is because in the fitness industry, a lot of people tend to look up to are world-class athletes. Mm-hmm. Athletes live their lives very different from
the 1%. It's their job.
Right. Don't try to...
Actually, less than 1%.
Way
less than
probably
1%.
0.001%.
Yeah.
Yes, you can be inspired by them, but don't put yourself in a box where you try to live your life like theirs. Because for one, you have no idea what they're doing. with athletes, especially on Instagram, all you see is the surface. You don't see the layers that go underneath.
Can I give an example?
Yeah.
Like, what I'm about to say is 5% bragging, 95% so you have something to compare to. I was in the top 1% of CrossFit athletes that competed in the CrossFit Open when I was at my peak. I was in the top 1%. And I still wasn't even close to making the games. So if you can imagine the way that we live our lives and how different it must be that the ones who are even higher than that have to live their lives, that's the only place where things like VO2 max and grams of carbs and proteins and fats, meal timing, all of these things that people focus on, that tiny, tiny little sliver of a percentage at the top is the only place where those things really matter. When you're getting paid to do that shit.
And you choose that to be your profession. You choose to go through extreme discomfort. It looks cool when you do VO2 training, but the reality is that any form of endurance is VO2 training. But when you put on those elevation masks and shit, no, we don't need it. We have an elevation mask and we never used it.
I don't even know where it is.
It's in your bag. Maybe you used it for training back in the day. But
yeah.
I never used that because why? I don't need that.
Yeah. It really doesn't matter. Okay. Good. Moving on. Let's go one more. This will be the last one from Danita in Iowa. And this is actually a really great question. And this actually has to do with technicalities of fitness that I think several people actually struggle with. So I'm excited to answer this question. I've never been able to understand and consistently implement proper breathing practices during workouts.
That's great.
Is there a trick to know when you should breathe out and in? Inhale for cat pose, exhale for cow pose feels natural, but nothing else does. During sit-ups, jumping jacks, jiggle jacks, I'm going to start saying jiggle. Push-ups, skater lunges, yoga poses. I can't seem to get in the right rhythm based on an instructor's guidance on when to breathe in and out. Is failure to apply breathing techniques likely to hinder my results? For one, what results? Breathing, let's talk about the importance of breathing during movement first. It's important, why? Because it determines how well your core is stabilizing your spine. It has to do with the oxygen that is going to or coming away from the muscle tissue so it can contract or not. It has to do with blood flow.
And how you're managing your stress levels.
So when we talk about breathing, a general rule that I would tell my clients, now there's always two sides to the coin. There's two sides to every coin. But a general rule is you exhale on the difficult part of the movement. For example, I'll just do a squat. Let me do a squat. A squat. For example, if you are squatting, lowering yourself is the easy part, right? Pushing back up is the hard part. So I'm going to inhale as I descend, and then I need to exhale that air to help me get out of that bottom position, right? For a pull-up, you're going to inhale when you're hanging and exhale as you pull. That exhale sends oxygen. You breathe in, it's carbon dioxide, and then when you exhale, or when you breathe in, it's oxygen and carbon dioxide. When you exhale, it sends oxygen to your body, and you exhale the carbon dioxide. Am I right in that?
And you exert pressure, and pressure creates a force.
And when you exhale, it's like you can brace And that pressure and that bracing helps complete that difficult part of the
Yeah, so I don't know if whoever has the burn zone, you probably heard us talk about it on some movements. Exhale, explode. Whenever you have to explode at the explosion point where you have to generate some kind of pressure, that's when you exhale. Mm-hmm. So with every movement, right, there is the load and then there is the explosion, right? Wherever you load, that's when you inhale. And you exhale when you have to create the pressure. Exhale, explode. Mm-hmm. That's a good question. But
it's a great question.
So this is, just start thinking about that, because in fitness there is a lot of like, it's not always when you go down that you have to inhale, and it's not always when you go up that you have to exhale. You know, just think about, am I loading or am I releasing pressure?
And there's some times where you breathe rhythmically and it's not just in, out, in, out, in, out. It's in, hold, exhale. Mm-hmm. So the more advanced you get to, I think, if you were to breathe in a way that, I guess she said it doesn't really feel natural anywhere else. Maybe to me it just feels natural because I've been doing it for so many years, but most people,
for you it's a pattern right now.
Yeah, and most people have a natural instinct to know when to breathe. Our bodies know what it needs to do, and then we tend to overthink things. So I wouldn't overthink it, but consider it.
Yeah, and as far as it hindering your results, no, it's not. What's hindering your results?
But what are the results is what I want to know. Like, for me, I've had to focus even more intentionally on my breathing and my bracing of my core, because I got a special back. Like, I got things that are missing from out of there. So if I don't pay attention to that and that breathing, like, I'm compromising my structure. Mm-hmm. So breathing helps, I would say, keep you safe and help you do more activity for longer. Some people don't breathe. It's better to breathe randomly than to just hold your breath, I would say.
Yeah.
So,
but for performance, for anybody who ever gets to the point of performance, breathing is a game changer. It's huge. But I can only assume that, Danita, for you, it's like you're just getting started. Mm-hmm. You want to lose weight. It's not hindering your results. For you, it was the lack of consistency.
Yeah. And for things that are isometric, like a plank. I see Dolly mentioned a plank. That's controlled breathing, trying to stay calm. Mm-hmm. So that's like a slow, like let me, this is my own thing, actually. I don't know if this is real. Like, if it matters, if you breathe fast or slow during an isometric. Isometric means you're holding something, mm-hmm. a wall sit, a plank, whatever. And I, on purpose, take deep inhales and exhales because it helps calm my mind while I'm holding something for a duration of time. Mm-hmm. But don't hold your breath.
Yeah.
You won't last as long, I promise.
You would actually want to breathe slowly and controllably in order to keep your stress levels down. Mm. Well, you guys, we hope that you found value in today's episode. Remember, later on today at 9 a.m., we're going to be announcing the winners of the Transformation Kickstarter Challenge. First place, second place, and third place. First place is going to win a coaching call along with the X Endurance in Motion box. Second place is going to win the X Endurance sample box along with a coaching call. And third place is going to get some swag along with a coaching call. For anybody who participated from start to finish, congratulations. Most people fell off. Yesterday we threw a surprise for you guys. We're not done yet. Officially,
there are
it's
more
done,
surprises.
But unofficially, the party continues all week long. Also, just a reminder, if you haven't already signed up for the Raw Transformation Program, which kicks off next Monday, It's time to get your ass in it. I don't know if you guys saw, but Lauren's email went out today and it was banging.
And if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, you need to subscribe because we now have a media team who is going to be taking these videos. It's no longer going to be me putting them on YouTube and then sending the email out every single day with the episode. We will still be sending you emails that go along with the things that we talk about in these episodes, but it's not going to be the episode every day. So you need to subscribe and hit the notification button. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe and hit the notification, the little bell down there, I think somewhere down there. And that way you will know when new videos drop and you won't have to wait a few days for an email to come out about the video. Capiche?
Yeah, the video sequence is going to be different moving forward, so you're not going to get an email every day. We're not going to be uploading it a couple hours after because we now have a team that's handling it, so things are going to look a little bit different. But of course, if you're listening to this live, then that's
you get it real time.
But if you're listening to this live on Facebook still, do us a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
And Lisa, yes, these will also be on every major podcast platform soon.
Yes, that team is working on it. They're getting their ducks in a row for us.
Yeah, it's a process. So they will, and it's underway, and we will absolutely let you know when it's live.
Your belly's got a lot to say. Okay, you guys, well, that being said, we hope that you have a beautiful morning and a beautiful day, and we will catch you live at 9 a.m. later this morning or tomorrow at 6:30. Unless you're watching this on YouTube, then we'll catch you on the next video.
Bye,
guys.